Okay, welcome everyone to the webinar. If you are having any problems hearing, just message me. I think you can message on here, right? Yes. So just let me know if you can't hear. But we have Penny from Weight Watchers that's going to introduce the program. And then if you have questions afterwards, let's just hold until then so she can get through the material. And Penny, go ahead.
So if you have questions, though, and you feel like, wait, I really don't get that, do they have a way to jump in?
Yes.
Because I don't mind that. I mean, you know, we're just,
yeah, I can unmute that.
We're just chatting.
Okay, perfect.
So my name is Penny Cherix. I am the account manager of the At Work program. And as such, I'm the one who goes out and talks about Weight Watchers. So our owner, Rick Trentman, thought that I might be a good one to do this for you guys, to talk about Weight Watchers and hopefully give you enough understanding that when someone comes to the program, your program, that you'll have a sufficient understanding to send them our way, so to speak. And I think at some point next week you're going to learn more about how that end of it works. So, Weight Watchers. We are this year 54 years old, which is pretty cool. I think we might be the oldest weight loss program in the country. For the, I believe, 7th year in a row, U.S. News and World Report has named us Best Plan for Weight Loss, which is pretty cool. It's not just us, it's U.S. News and World Report. So when I need a new slide, do I just tell you? Okay. So this is important to know, though. Beyond the Scale is our new program that we introduced in January. Come on in. That we introduced in January of 2016. It is a holistic approach to a healthy lifestyle. It is not a diet. We do not use the D word. Because as soon as you say diet, that puts people in mind of deprivation or I can't have that. Weight Watchers will not tell you what to eat or what not to eat, ever. We just give you tools to make better choices yourself, thereby learning how to make better choices. This is about going to the grocery store. It's about eating out with friends. It's about having friends over, going out to lunch with the girls. It's about living your real life, but paying attention to health. So weight loss, go ahead and jump me. So what is Beyond the Scale? This is probably the biggest change that Weight Watchers has made in our 54 years. As our owner said, we can't do anything about our name. We're still Weight Watchers. But this approach is more about a healthy lifestyle. So Beyond the Scale is made up of 3 pillars: food, fitness, and fulfillment. So food is the new Smart Points program. Every food is assigned a points plus value. It's based on calories as a baseline, saturated fat, sugar, and protein. Those 4 elements go into a Weight Watchers calculator and tell you what the Smart Points value is for that food. There are foods that are 0 points plus value. All fruits except coconut and avocado are 0 points. It doesn't mean you shouldn't eat those. It's just they have points that you count. But all the other fruit is free. Most vegetables are free, including carrots. The starchy ones, typically the peas, corn, potatoes, those do have a fairly small points plus. You'll hear me saying that a lot because for 4 years I talked about points plus. Smart Points value. And then each person is assigned a points, there we go, Smart Points target. You could think of it as a budget. And that's based on age, gender, height, current weight. Again, we put those into a calculator, and it tells the member what their personalized daily target is. So they think of that as a budget. When I get up in the morning, I have 30 Smart Points, and I can spend them literally any way that I want. I have the tools to figure out the best way to spend those. So it is really about tracking, keeping track of what you eat. And that's the basis of Weight Watchers. So next slide. So we've talked about food. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Fitness. For its own sake, not so you can eat more food. Previously, with Points Plus, what I keep trying to say, you could earn activity points and you could eat them. We did that for 4 years. Weight Watchers figured out, that doesn't really work. I know myself, if I did a really big hike on a Saturday, like 4 or 5 hours, I would think, okay, I can eat anything I want. I don't even have to think about it. To some extent, that's true if you're exercising that hard, but if you're walking every day for 30 minutes and counting it and eating it, that's not good. So fitness is for its own sake, for the things that it does for our body, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. I mean, we need to move. We are human beings that need to move. So that's what's important. Moving is a part of a healthy lifestyle. The last element, third pillar, is fulfillment. And this is really about taking care of oneself, making sure that you get what we call me time. And that's really just finding even 5 minutes every few hours to do something that gives you joy, that makes you feel good. And it could just be getting up from your desk and walking around the office that makes you feel good. It's important to take that time. It's important to set aside time for you. And we call that me time, and we'll give you lots of suggestions and tools and support and ways to make that happen. So that is beyond the scale. Those are the 3 elements. I'm not sure what the next slide is. Oh, material. So in a meeting, all members, when they join, get materials. You can go ahead and do the next slide. These are I brought these physically. For those of you who are on the phone, you can see what they are. These booklets are amazing. They have so much information and wonderful suggestions. And then people also get this little pocket guide. It has about 600 foods in it and their corresponding Smart Points values. They also get the success story. Those are all on the slide if you're just looking at the slide. The success story we used to call weight record, but with Beyond the Scale, Weight Watchers changed that to success story because that's a more positive theory or way to say it than weight record, So, and it has lots of tips in it. One of my favorite things and you can look at those and pass them around. One of my favorite things that is in the success story book is a place to put your why. Why are you doing this? And you're supposed to write it down. And they really encourage you, write it down. Because in 5 or 6 weeks, you might be wondering, why am I doing this? Even though Weight Watchers is not about deprivation, it is not about saying you can't have this or you can't have that. But the feeling is that at about week 5 or 6, people start kind of losing their impetus. It's good to be able to refer back to that why. Why did I do this? Why am I doing this? If you're not just losing weight and that's keeping you going and saying, yeah, this is why I'm doing it. Because this program is amazing. Next slide. Another piece, ooh, we missed the weeklies. Is that in there? Behind, oh, I thought I took a picture of weeklies. Oh, well. These, in this place with the people that I'm looking at, I bring weeklies. Oh, and those of you who are on the phone, I brought enough that we can get them out to you. Every week, members get this little pamphlet that's called a weekly. It always has a recipe, a tip, and sometimes a coupon. It also has a subject. Like this one is boost your body confidence. This is a starting place for the leader. And I might mention, oh, I did mention that. There we go. Pamphlet called a weekly. Never mind, I'm going to wait. Sorry. So everybody gets a weekly. It's a starting point for the leader. Go ahead and do them, because I think we're going to talk about, oh no, let's do this. Creating a meal. this is just a demonstration of how really simple this is. It's a matter of making choices, but having the information to make those choices based on information rather than just, gee, I wonder. I have a story about an omelet. My husband wanted to go to IHOP, and so I looked up IHOP to see what options I would want to pick, and they had an omelet that was a spinach and mushroom omelet. Sounds good, right? I looked it up. It was 30 points. It was my entire day. Now, had I not had that information, I would have made a bad choice. So it's just about having information and making better choices. So in this example, obviously, it's just showing you an egg is 2 smart points, cheese, and then some freebies, all your veggies that are in there. So point being, it's easy. It's easy. Okay. Meetings. Meetings are member-driven. This is a meeting. It is not a class or a lecture. You have a leader, not a teacher. During the meeting, the weekly has a subject, and that's where the leader starts, is with that subject. However, leaders are trained to pay attention to what their group is doing. And if the group needs to go in a different direction, say, for example, we're looking at this boost your body confidence, but people need to talk about, I can't get enough water. I'm not drinking enough water. And somebody else in the room might say the same thing, and the meeting might go in that direction. Point being, it is member-driven. It's even now set up in 2 clamshell rows, or 3, depending on how big the meeting is, facing each other. It's not set up like a lecture. It's set up in a room where people are looking at each other, and that encourages interaction and it encourages people being more interested and thereby being more successful. So that's what meetings are like, regular meetings. And then first meeting. Somebody asked what happens in the first meeting. So when you send someone to us for their first meeting, they'll get there a half an hour early. They will let the staff know that they're joining. So they'll fill out paperwork. They'll get all of the payment part taken care of, and you guys are going to figure out how that works.
Yeah, we're paying for it. So they won't do payment with you during that time. But they'll just do your paperwork and get your materials.
All right. So they'll join, basically. And then they attend the regular meeting. So they can go to any meeting that they want to in any of our many locations around the Valley, North and South as well. So they can go to any meeting, statewide, but not Southern. Yeah. St. George and Cedar City belong to the Las Vegas franchise.
We don't have a program.
Okay.
So
good. That makes it simple. So they can go to any meeting. They'll get there 30 minutes early, get the paperwork taken care of. They'll get their first weigh-in. That will go in their success story book. And then they'll attend the regular meeting, and afterwards the leader will stay with them and do what we call a getting to know you session. And it's during that point where the new member will review all the paperwork or the materials that they've gotten, and just make sure when they walk out the door they're comfortable with the program and they know how to do it. Okay? Oh, I wanted to mention, this is important. This person is going to get her first weigh-in. It's always going to be a private weigh-in. So most of our centers now, honestly, they look like a spaceship. It's got this wooden thing that's kind of round, and you stand behind it, and the scale is right there. So nobody except the person who is actually weighing is going to know what that number is. No one. And the person who's weighing will write it down in that success story book and hand it to the person. So it's very private. We realize that this is a sensitive issue for a lot of people. So we want to make it as comfortable as possible for everyone. Okay? So I was also asked to talk about success stories, and obviously there are lots and lots of success stories, including my own. Pause for water. I'm 25 years lifetime, and we're going to talk about lifetime. So I did what everyone's done. I joined 25 years ago. I had 10 pounds to lose, lost my 10 pounds, got my lifetime status, stayed with it for a little while, went away. Everybody does this at some point. Went away, put on 15 pounds. Eventually thought, okay, I got to go back to Weight Watchers. Went back to Weight Watchers, lost my 15, stayed a little while, and then went away again. And by this time I'm getting older, so this time I put on 20 pounds. So 2011, when we started Points Plus and fruit became free, I said, okay, count me in. So I came back in 2011, lost my 20 pounds, and had been kind of hanging out there, not really that happy with my body because I was now in my 60s and feeling a little frustrated that I had a tummy and I had some cellulite, so I wasn't real thrilled with my body. When this new program, Smart Points, came out, I was so ready to do something new. And I think part of the reason that I was as successful as I was is that I jumped in with both feet and embraced this with both arms and said, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to track every single thing that I put in my mouth. I'm going to make better choices. But the interesting thing is, this program, Smart Points, does not like sugar. I went into the program saying, well, I know it's getting all of you guys off of sugar, but I have a lifelong addiction to sugar and I like it. So it's not going to work for me, but that's okay. I'm still going to be making better choices. I ate dark chocolate every day. I said, don't tell me I can't. That's who I am. I eat dark chocolate. My aha moment, some of you are nodding your heads, my aha moment came about 3 weeks in when I realized I haven't had dark chocolate for 3 days and this is the first time it's crossed my mind. So I realized that although I was eating dark chocolate every day, my little piece of Godiva dark chocolate, I was making other less sugary choices. I wasn't eating that cookie. I was eating something else instead because I had the information to make better choices. And I lost 10 pounds in the first 10 weeks. I was looking to lose 3. I lost 10. And it stripped the fat off of me. So I just turned 65 and I don't have cellulite thanks to this program. It's not something I did other than embrace it fully and do it. And it got me off of sugar. I got to tell you, you can put a plate of cookies, plate of dark chocolate in front of me. I am not remotely interested. I would rather have a good piece of bread toasted with a little olive oil. That is my treat. So point being, it will get you off of sugar if you do it. If you really, really embrace it. So that's my success story. So, and Weight Watchers is saying that people are losing 15% more weight than they did on Points Plus. We locally are seeing more than that, even better results. So I'm not even sure. There we go. Lifetime. This is, to me, the most awesome thing that Weight Watchers did a long time ago. When a person joins Weight Watchers, sometimes they have a little to lose, sometimes they have a lot to lose. At some point, they're going to set a weight goal. They're going to communicate that with their leader. Their leader can help them decide what is going to be my weight goal. So we write it down, and it's based, by the way, on the BMI chart that the military uses. So there's a high and a low. And so you'll set it, a member would set a weight goal. Once the member achieves that weight goal, then they do a 6-week maintenance program to learn how to stay at that weight. You've been losing, now you need to learn how to stay there within 2 pounds of that goal weight. At the end of the 6-week maintenance, one becomes a lifetime member. One is always a lifetime member. Even if you fall off the wagon, even if you go away for 10 years, you're always a lifetime member. You're a free lifetime member, and this is the part that I love because it says to me that Weight Watchers cares more about your overall health than getting your money. You're a free lifetime member provided you weigh in once a calendar month and don't go more than 2 pounds over the goal. If one of those things doesn't happen, you go on vacation or whatever, $10 to get back in the door. Lifetime members never pay a registration fee, and they never pay for missed weeks. Isn't that awesome? I mean, that to me does say they want you to be healthy. I said to our owner at one point, so our goal is to get people where they don't pay us. And he said, yeah, that's right. So that is Lifetime, and I think we might be done. Do we have another slide?
No, that's the last one.
Okay. So questions. I love questions. Do we want to start with those in here?
So when you're calculating the points, was it in Points Plus that you calculated the fiber in a food?
Yes. Yes. Our previous program looked at carbohydrates. Now we look at sugar specifically. It looked at fat in general. Now we're looking at saturated fat specifically. Protein stayed the same, and we dropped fiber because the feeling was people, if they're eating well, they're getting plenty of fiber. Make fruit and vegetables free, you're going to eat those because that's going to fill you up. That's what I use for snacky things. You know, I eat all day. I got to tell you guys, I eat literally all day. First breakfast, second breakfast, lunch, afternoon snack, dinner, and then evening snacks, plural. But a lot of times it's fruit. And by the way, if you get off of sugar, fruit tastes amazing. Food tastes amazing. That's been the biggest change that I've seen, well, besides my body, is that food tastes so good. It's like all those years that I was eating sugar, there was like a coating on my tongue, and it's gone. And food is amazing. So, yes?
I want to know if there is a limit in the number of fruits that you can eat and they are not.
That is a good question. The question is there a limit on fruit? There is not a limit on fruit as far as the program is concerned. However, you are trying to lose weight, so you do want to be reasonable about it. But I like to say, and people always ask, well, what about bananas? They have a lot of natural sugar in them. So you eat a banana. Maybe you'd eat a second banana. Are you seriously going to eat a third, fourth, and fifth banana? I don't think so. Because, no. Now, when I eat an orange, I always eat 2 oranges. I just clean myself 2 oranges because I know that when I'm done with the first one, I'm going to want another one. But is there a limit? No. Now, if you have diabetes, you have to listen to your doctor. So the restrictions are not going to come from Weight Watchers. We're not going to tell you there's a limit on fruit. What we are going to tell you is be reasonable because you're trying to lose weight, and pay attention to your doctor if you have physical issues.
I got another question about fruit.
No, I love it. This is what we need to do.
So, my mother's been a Lifetime member forever. And now there's this craze about having a smoothie for breakfast.
Yes.
And she said, well, if you grind up your apple in a smoothie, now it counts as points and it's not free.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. I will tell you, I fought this tooth and nail. I had a practically knockdown, drag-out argument with a leader in her office because I said, well, I don't get it. The strawberries that I'm putting in there are whole. The whole strawberry is there. I'm not taking anything. I'm not juicing. I'm putting the whole strawberry in. She couldn't give me a reason other than that's what Weight Watchers says. I was at my cousin's house. His wife, who's never done Weight Watchers ever, I was making my smoothie because back in those days I had a smoothie every morning for breakfast. So I'm putting my strawberries in their blender and griping about the fact that now I'm supposed to count these strawberries and I don't get it. And she said, well, Penny, you're processing the strawberries. Your body doesn't have to work as hard to put it through. Once she said the word processed, the light bulb came on. Now I get it. That is a better reason than because Weight Watchers said so. So if you think about it, if you process it, and I had a blend tech, and my joke was, it is obliterated. Like everything you put in a blend tech is obliterated. Well, that's another word for processed. So that's why.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
How do you, so how do they show, I know there's 30 points they max, but how do they keep track of like the protein, make sure that they're making the choices with the right protein amount of protein that they need? And
okay, the question is, we're looking at points, we're not looking at specifically how much protein am I getting, how much of any of the 4 things, calories, saturated fat, sugar, protein. But how are we making sure?
yeah, because it could be also like, under eating is also as bad as overeating.
It is.
You know what I mean?
Which
A lot of
we-
people under eat.
Yes, we tell people that you need to eat all 30 of your,
Okay.
30 is the minimum. And it goes up from there, again, based on age, gender, height, and current weight. So you could, men, oh my gosh, you want to kill them. They get like 15 more points a day than women do, just because they have more, body mass. But how are you I don't have an answer to that question unless I did one time, because I was kind of curious about that. So everything that I had tracked, I looked up what the 4 elements were, and I just kept track of it. I'm getting plenty of protein,
Okay.
mostly because I know how important protein is. I know how important it is to not eat added sugar, because this program has taught me that. Because things that are high in sugar and high in saturated fat are going to be higher in Smart Points value. Things that have lower calories and higher protein are going to be very low. Fish and turkey are your friend. You can have 3 ounces for 1 Smart Point.
Okay.
So you will just find yourself, when I am planning my meals, all 3 regular meals, I always make sure I have protein. And even my snacks, I try and pair something with protein, because the program has made me aware of how important protein is.
Okay.
So there isn't a specific way necessarily, unless you do the math and just decide, okay, I'm going to and it has this many calories, this much saturated fat, this much sugar, this much protein. And then at the end of the day, I'm going to add it all up. That's really the only way you would figure
But
that
they
out.
do have to eat the 30 points.
But you should eat your minimum, yeah.
Okay.
Even if your minimum is
Encouraged.
more than 30, you should,
Okay.
you should eat your minimum.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
I just was thinking, that sounds like, it's so hard for me because it sounds like so much food,
It is a lot of food.
But then you think,
I don't know.
but
That's
that
why
seems like so much
But
work.
that's okay.
That's why you make.
I'm telling you, I eat all day. I literally eat all day. I probably don't, this is kind of crazy, I probably don't go more than 30 or 40 minutes without something in my mouth. It could be fruit, could be vegetables, or it's my main meal. Do we have any questions from?
Not yet, but I was just thinking, as far as selling this to our participants, that's a key point, is saying, like, it's going to teach you how to eat better. Yeah.
That's the whole point of this program, is tools for you to make better choices, as opposed to telling you what to eat or what not to eat.
Because I think that's one of the most common questions that we're getting, or, well, not me, because I'm not doing the health coaching, but is, oh, I need to know, how do I lose the weight? What do I need to eat? I don't know, just a lot of questions in that vicinity. So that should be like a really key point in trying to get people to join, to be referred to Weight Watchers, and saying, this is going to show you how to eat, and it will give you the support that you need.
We're going to give you the tools to make better choices. That's the bedrock of our program. And like I said, it's real life. It's going to the grocery store, making better choices in the grocery store, even making better choices, God forbid, in a fast food lane. You will find, members will find themselves not doing that very much. You had a question?
All the tools for people that do not like to track.
Are there tools for people who do not like to track? I would have to say not really. We have a program called Simply Filling, which is based on a list of high protein foods, and you eat strictly from those foods. That program works for people who are really disciplined. I had been doing it for the 2 years before I jumped on board with SmartPoint. That was what I was doing, was Simply Filling. but I was cheating all over the place. It was too easy to cheat on Simply Filling. So yes, but really not. We don't encourage you. In fact, if people say, I want to do Simply Filling, I say, try the regular program for at least 2 weeks and see how you do. Learn about portion control. Learn about what, oh, this food has, wow, that much sugar in it? I never knew that. So yeah, it's tools, and they get the, where are my stuff? They get a pocket guide, for those of you who are, no. Why don't you go back to see if we can find the, yeah. We're going to go back. There we go, right there. Okay, so the pocket guide, like I said, has about 600 foods and their corresponding Smart Points values. But in these other books, Meet Your Plan is going to have menus and recipes and things. You get a recipe with every weekly. If you need help, we will give you help. The only thing I can tell you is that if someone goes to Weight Watchers, they will learn to make better choices and learn to lose weight. But again, we really want to emphasize that losing weight is part of, and only part of, a holistic approach to a healthy lifestyle. It's more than the scale. And granted, your folks are probably coming to you saying, I need to lose this weight because my doctor said I'm pre-diabetic or whatever. There's a little if you see me doing this. And that's important to them. But if we can get people to look at their life in a healthier way overall, they're going to be more successful than just saying this is a diet and you must follow it. As soon as you say a D word, people, you know, that's deprivation is the other D word. Does that help?
No, that does help. No, go ahead.
I've got a story. I got stories for everything. So in 1987, my mom and dad went on Weight Watchers, and they took my sister. But I was just a skinny little thing. But when they came home from Weight Watchers, back then you had to like measure your half cup of rice. I don't know what the plan was. But we would sit down on Sunday and make a meal plan, and it was like a whole family affair.
Excellent.
And we all learned about peeling the skin off the chicken, and that was my job. And, you know, about like making better choices and maybe not have potatoes every meal, you know. And so it was a big, like, for the whole family, we all did it, not just mom.
Yeah.
And they used to have these delicious, oh, they were so delicious little desserts that had cherries. Oh. But yeah, they were so delicious. And so we all did Weight Watchers as a family when I was a little girl. And, you know, that's how I know a serving of rice is a half a cup. And I look at the half a cup on my plate, I'm like, that's not a half a cup. That's like 4 cups.
It's really interesting. When you put take a half a cup of pasta, you're thinking, a half a cup? That's all I get is a half a cup? I'm telling you, you pack a half a cup full of pasta and then dump it on your plate, it's a lot. It's like it grows, like you said. It feels more like 4 cups.
I think that would be an important point for our participants as well, because a lot of them are single moms, or they might have a partner or whatever that also has health issues, and so just telling it to them is that it's a benefit for your whole family, and not just yourself.
And because it's real food, because it's going to the grocery store and making meals, everyone can eat it. It's not, nobody wants to be in a situation where I'm making a meal for myself and I'm making a separate meal for my family. That just doesn't make sense. That's not going to work. So you use the recipes that Weight Watchers provides that are wonderful. They're not hard. They're delicious. They're highly flavored. And everyone in the family can eat it. Now, there is a big part of this that's called portion control. And that's one of the things that you learn when you're on Weight Watchers is, what is a half a cup? Get your measuring cup out. I have a food scale. I weigh and measure everything that goes in my mouth. Now, I've been doing this particular program for 1.5 years obsessively. I can pretty much guess what a pile of chicken or turkey, more specifically 3 ounces of turkey, looks like. I still put it on my scale every single time before I eat it because I want to know for sure how much I'm eating 3 ounces of turkey, which, by the way, is costing me 1 stinking smart point. So it is about portion control, and you will learn. They will learn about portion control and about making better choices. That's all I can say about it.
For our participants, though, so everyone knows, when they do decide to enroll, they will get a food scale and measuring cups of food. And we are also paying for their smart point calculator. Awesome. Yes.
Good point. Thank you for bringing that up. So because, and let's all be honest here, because we are not going to, you guys are not going to be providing them with online tools. Anybody else, like if we get a meeting going here and you get the online tools, by the way, they're just awesome, but I understand you can't provide online tools for everybody. So they will need a calculator, and that I mentioned that those 4 elements, calories, saturated fat, sugar, and protein, go in a Weight Watchers calculator. They're these little, for those of you not watching me, they're like 2 by 3 and maybe 3/4 of an inch thick, opens up, and you plug in those 4 elements, and it will tell you what the Smart Points value is for a serving. And it will also tell you how much a serving is at some point in your written materials. You'll find out what a serving is. So that's wonderful. If you're giving them those things, those are really the 4 tools that you really need to have in order to do this program. The Weight Watchers calculator, a food scale, measuring cups, and measuring spoons. If you've got those and all the materials that we give you, you can do the program successfully. So that's awesome.
Yeah, we'll be giving those out at the conference next week.
So everybody can see what.
Well, we're giving them all the scales and stuff for their participants.
Cool. And I can loan you the materials. I just have to get them back at some point because it is proprietary information, and you're theoretically supposed to pay for it before you look at it. Yes.
Do you have a list? I have noticed that like Denny's and places like that, they do have meals in it from Weight Watchers.
Yes.
You have a list of, because a lot of these ladies that like to go eat breakfast, you know.
So the question is there access to information about restaurants?
Yeah, like what restaurants carry that?
There is access. It would not be provided in the things that we're talking about, you guys providing to your people. We do have a book. We have 2 books. One, they're each about 1 inch thick. That is, one of them is called Shop, that has just thousands of foods and their corresponding Smart Points values. And then there's another one called Eating Out that lists restaurants and menus on those restaurants. For the day when we get this at work meeting going and you have online tools, it's on your phone. And you pull up restaurants.
Do you suppose that it's really accurate? Like if it says that the Denny's meal is 10 Smart Points, do you think it really is when you go to Denny's and you eat that?
Obviously, we can't guarantee that it really is 10 points for that Denny's meal. However, the reality is, if you were doing this program day in, day out, all day long, if that's really 9 or it's really 12 and you've only eaten it once in a month, it's not going to matter. I mean, I'm fairly OCD about this, I have to say, but I don't know that you need to be. I think the whole goal here is to get your people healthier. And all of the things that they are provided gets them healthier in an overall way, not just what does it cost to eat that meal at Denny's. So it's a bigger picture.
Well, I have to tell you that your OCD is working. You look great.
Thank you. Thank you. I love this program. I absolutely love it. I really do eat all day. I eat what I want. I'm not interested in sweet things.
I was going to ask you something else. Do you do this? Because it's something that I would do. I noticed the nachos were like 19 points. Well, would you eat, like, if I was me, I would be like, okay, I'm going to share with Anna, and we're going to get 10 points each. Okay?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, sure.
Or nachos?
Yeah. They were 19 points.
Big picture.
I want the half with the guacamole and all that. I'll take 14 points. You
You
get
take the cheese. Okay. That was my question. Just because I'm very like I do eat everything, but I obviously I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna have a little piece or pie or whatever, but then I'm still accountable for it.
Or the food that my lunch today, and I'm going to a friend's house tonight for dinner, and we're going to eat lots of really naughty things and drink some wine. So I'm trying to eat cheap all day. So I made my turkey with light mayo and grapes, and made a great big thing. So I'll eat half of it at lunch and the other half right before I leave to go to their house. And so I'm counting those points when I eat them. So the question was, can you divvy it in half? Absolutely. If you're sharing something with somebody, yeah.
One of the things is, I did Weight Watchers. I have done Weight Watchers like 3 times.
We've all done Weight Watchers 3 times.
There are people that they have faces during the day. There are people, they are morning people, that means they start in the morning and they will eat whatever. And then there are people that they are late either, so kind of getting to know your personality. I can go all morning without eating anything until 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh my gosh.
But then I am starving, but that's bad. But I mean, they are so.
I think that, the prevailing wisdom is that you should eat 3 meals a day and 2 or 3 snacks, because that's how your body works best, is to have that fuel all day long. So so not eating until 3 o'clock is not what we suggest.
No, because then you go on couple of
because you're starving and you don't want to go into it starving. Do we have any questions from the hinterland?
No questions on here. I think that's pretty much all. We'll talk about how it's going to be implemented into the BeWise program next week. So if you think of any questions between now and then, make sure you write them down so we can get them answered. But the program itself, we're slated to start referring people April 1st. So, we'll talk about all of that, and also the potential of going back and with clients you've already met with. If you can think of people offhand, you're like, I really wish this would have been available when I met with them a couple months ago. That's going to be, we can go back and offer it to people from the past as well. So,
wonderful.
We will talk about that all next week. But yeah, if you have any questions, you can shoot an email to me before then, but we'll talk about how it's going to work at the conference next week. So thanks, Penny, for coming.
Yes, it was fun.
Yeah, I think that's everything. So thanks everyone for attending, and we'll see you next week. Oh, and if you haven't registered for the conference yet, slap yourself on the wrist.
One other quick question. As far as sites, I just went online to look at what sites were available, and I'm just wondering, if you're in an area where there's not a whole lot of sites, how difficult is it to get a site for meetings?
That's the question for Penny.
Do you mean by site, do you mean a center?
I'd like for meetings.
A meeting place. Are you thinking in terms of starting a new one somewhere, like in the
city? So like I'm up in Brigham City, so I'm thinking we have Brigham City and we have Logan for our for our southern Box Elder County women. But I was just wondering, like upper northern Box Elder County, would it ever be possible to have a site up in Tremont?
So here's how it works. That would be considered a community meeting. We have to have 35 people to begin a community meeting.
Okay.
With a minimum of 15 continuing every week to keep it open.
Okay.
We previously, I believe we used to have a meeting in Tremont, but it closed. I had an at-work meeting at the Mom brand store.
Right.
For a while, and it closed because we didn't have enough participants. Obviously, Weight Watchers is a business, so we do have to run it with some wee bit of profit. So if we're paying someone to be there, we have to have enough people supporting it.
So with that, if we have clients coming in and we are trying to help build that, then we could encourage them to check out the website for the fee that their friends may have to pay to be part of Weight Watchers if they don't qualify for our program.
Yeah,
So that can help build numbers for our area as well.
Right, absolutely. And we would love to start new community meetings. We just have minimums that have to happen.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, this is Shawnee from Carbon County. Where do you find where the Weight Watcher sites, who's involved in this?
If you go to weightwatchers.com, in the upper right-hand corner, once you get, that should land you on the home page. In the upper right-hand corner, there's a little thing that says find a meeting. You put your zip code in there, and it will tell you what meetings are around that zip code.
Okay.
And I can send out a list of the meetings and the meeting times. In the smaller, more rural areas, there's not a lot of options.
No, there really aren't a lot of options outside the main cities. And believe me, we are as heartbroken as you are about that, because we used to have a lot of community meetings around the state. But
we are hoping that with this new population that we're paying for, maybe it will build capacity.
Sure.
So we do have a Weight Watchers in our area.
Yes, you do. You have,
So
everyone has at least one in their county.
Ah.
Okay.
Carbon County would be Price, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Price. We have a location in Price.
Yes,
I think so. Yeah.
we do. We have I found it.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Sure.
There's a question that's asking, are meetings available in Spanish? So currently there are not. And we talked about this with Rick, and he said, because some of our Salt Lake coaches said, well, what if I offer to go and translate for them? And he said that was fine, that they could go and translate, but obviously that's not an option for everyone, or I don't know. So what's going to happen right now is that anybody who would like their materials, would like to participate, can speak enough English that they feel like they would get enough out of a meeting, they are still able to join, and they will be able to receive the materials in Spanish.
We do have Spanish-speaking materials.
Yes. So when they enroll in the program, when you fill out their referral, it will ask you if they want English or Spanish materials, and then they will make sure that that's the material. If they chose Spanish, that they will get Spanish materials when they show up to their meeting. Hopefully, going forward, because we are bringing in this new population, there will be enough people to have a meeting at some point in Spanish. The Rick just said that they haven't had enough participants to have a meeting in Spanish, and so that's why there isn't already. So, like, this question came from Utah County. I would assume that there's enough people in Utah County to make a Spanish meeting at some point.
Could be, yeah. I mean, it's Rick's baby, so he would be the one that would say, yes, we'll hire someone who speaks Spanish, and we'll have Spanish-speaking meetings. I'm
assuming at least Utah County and Salt Lake County specifically, that there would be enough people to have Spanish meetings. But we're just hoping right now to get the program started, and hopefully we can grow it on the Spanish side. And I don't think there's any more questions.
I have to say I'm grateful I don't qualify for the program, but I wish I did.
Yeah, well, and that's what we'll talk about next week, but if, based on participation, we will pay up to 6 months of meetings for these women. So that's why I'm saying I think we will be building a lot of capacity in the Spanish-speaking portion. But if there's no more questions directly for Penny, we'll meet next week about everything else. And again, if you haven't registered for the conference, make sure you do that ASAP.
And if anybody has questions, you have my email address, right? You can forward them. I'm more than happy to answer questions at any point. I love questions. And clearly I like talking about Weight Watchers. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming and listening and participating and all that.
Just in case any, I have two friends, dear friends that they are